Hi, this is from my friend Maddie. She said that she had to start her project all over again because she dropped some stitches. And so I haven't done a lesson on how to regather your stitches if you drop them. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, if you have crochet hooks, they come in really handy. This is a cute little set I got from Amazon, and it has several sizes, really small, medium, and then really large. But if you have crochet hooks, they work too. The other thing you can do is just put a pin through it if you have a pin or anything that you can catch it with before it gets too unraveled. And I'm going to kind of show you what you can do if you skip a stitch. Now I've knit this far, and I'm just going to drop that stitch as if I forgot about it. And I'm going to just go ahead and knit to the end of my row. Keep knitting, keep knitting, keep knitting. And I will notice it when I get to the other side. So if I look at that, you can see there's my dropped stitch. So as soon as you see that you've dropped a stitch, go ahead and put something in it. And actually, some of these little, you don't even have to use a crochet hook yet. Some of these little stitch markers are perfect for this. If you open it up, and I'm going to pull this a little way so that it unravels a couple layers, just so we can work with this. So I see that that's where my knit stitch is. You can see that's where my needle would actually be through. So I'm going to go ahead and put my stitch holder right there for now. And if you've dropped 4 or 5 of them, go ahead and put stitch holders in all of those that you've dropped. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knit to that spot, and you just have to go slowly. You don't have to be in a hurry. And I kind of keep an eye out, watching for where I've dropped it. And I have a couple more to do. So it's right here. It's in between this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now you can see I have a ladder there, and that's basically where I've dropped my stitch. So this, if you're knitting and knitting on one side and purling on the other, it's really easy because all you have to do is just keep going up your ladder. If you're knitting on both sides like we are here, it's a little bit more tricky, but we can do it. So I'm going to go ahead and take my crochet hook, and I'm going to put it in that stitch that I've dropped, and I'm going to pull it so that I have all of my threads on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and unhook it. Now, we have to decide if we are knitting or purling, and if you're not too if you don't really care that it looks like a knit and purl, you can just go ahead and crochet those clear up to the top and then put them on your stitch, your needle. And let me show you what that did. That actually, it made a knit stitch the whole way up. You don't have your knit purl, but that's perfectly okay. The other way, if you want to go ahead, you have to go ahead and figure out, okay, this one was knit. So, and I'm going to move my stuff down so I don't drop it. So if you can hold on to that and pull it, kind of pull it under, because you actually want to knit from the other side for the next stitch. So that means you want to get under that thread, and you're going to pull it through. And then you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to hold that stitch while you take your hook to the other side. Go ahead and grab that stitch, grab the next piece of yarn up on your ladder, and pull it through. So there you've kind of kept your continuity. Let's do that again. I'm going to take this way back down. So as I look at this, Hang on, let me drop my, so that I can get closer. There we go. Okay, so I have that caught. And I want to take a look. So as I look at this, this is coming out as a knit stitch, and I can tell that because the one below it has the hook, has the yarn across it, and then this one has been knit. So I actually, what I need to do is pull that stitch to the other side of my work, hold it, if you can hold it with your thumb so it doesn't unravel more, pull your needle out and then put it through this way. Find the next thread on your stitch, because right now we're just knitting, we haven't started purling. And so I'm going to crochet that through. And then I have to do pretty much the same thing the whole way up. I'm going to pull that a little bit, hold it with my thumb and finger so that it doesn't get loose. I'll take my needle on the other side and then grab that stitch, turn it over, and I can see that this is my next ladder of thread. So I'm going to crochet that through. And you can see we're keeping our stitches, we're keeping our knit and purl stitches. So again, I'm going to hold that stitch with my thumb and finger so it doesn't pull through. I'm going to go through my last thread under it, and I'm going to crochet that thread through. Now, once you get the last one through, there's my working needle, so I know I still have to work this thread. I'm going to put it up here. And then you can just go ahead and you can see I have that twisted. There's my front leg. So I have to knit through that leg. And now I can go knitting again. Now, again, if I were knitting on one side and purling on the other, it's very easy. You just find the side that you're purling on, and let me unravel these. And let's pretend this is all the purl side, which means that it's the nice straight fabric. I just go ahead and crochet up by catching the next yarn in the row. And again, you can see if this were all purl side, that would be perfect. And then I just go ahead and start knitting the rest of them. So I hope that's helped. Give me a little jingle down at the bottom with a comment if you're having a hard time with this, and we can figure out a better way to show you how to do this. But I think that's going to work. I'm going to finish this row and then just show you my fabric that I've made when I had to fix a dropped stitch. It's not that hard, it's just a little futzy because, for example, this piece we are just knitting. We are doing plain knit on this side, knit on this side, knit, knit, knit. We aren't doing knit, purl, knit, purl. So this would be how to fix it if you're doing knit, purl, because then all your fabric would look like this. But you can see this is the one that we fixed that dropped clear down to here, and it just looks fine. It looks just exactly like the rest of them. There's bumps on each side. And so if we look at this stitch again, you can see this is all smooth stitch and this is real tight bumps. So it's a knit, purl. So as long as you're knitting and purling, it's really easy to fix a drop stitch. It's not at all hard. But if you're doing what we're doing right now, is just knitting both sides, it's a little bit trickier. And you can come back and watch this over and over again. You don't have to start your work over every time you drop a stitch. Nobody would continue knitting if we had to do that. We all had to learn how to do this. Okay, I hope this has helped you. Go ahead, if you have some needles and some practice yarn, I would suggest just practicing some of these things. Knit yourself a real small piece, maybe 10 stitches long, and knit up and then drop the stitch. If you get it down to the bottom, it's a little bit harder to fix, but if you can catch it in the middle, just go ahead and use your stitch markers to catch it. Finish that row that you're working on, come back and finish this row, and then you can go on. The next thing I'm going to teach you is how to unknit. And if you've done something and you've caught it quick enough and you know you can fix it, then we're going to go ahead and fix that. But for now, this is just how to catch a stitch that you've dropped and go back. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. We'll be back next time with another video.